The Lost Penguin Chick. Brrr! It's chilly today, Zoya. Finn shivered, rubbing his arms. They were sitting on their rug, looking at a big, colourful map of the world. It is a bit nippy, Zoya agreed, pointing to a swirling white area at the bottom of the map. But imagine how cold it is here, Finn. This is Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. Look, it's covered in ice and snow. Are there animals there? Finn asked, his eyes wide. Lots, Zoya grinned, especially penguins. Did you know some penguins travel thousands of miles to find food or lay their eggs? Just then, a faint, sad chirping sound seemed to float up from the map. It sounded so lonely. Did you hear that? Finn whispered, leaning closer. It sounds like someone's lost. Zoya pulled out the wonder whistle, its smooth surface already glowing a soft blue for empathy and a shimmery green for nature. I think you're right, Finn. That sounds like a baby penguin, and it sounds very, very far from home. She looked at Finn. Ready to be penguins? Ready! Finn shouted, bouncing with excitement. Zoya held the whistle to her lips and blew. Whoosh! A swirling vortex of blue and green light surrounded them. The comfy rug vanished, replaced by a blast of icy, fresh air. Their clothes transformed into sleek, waterproof feathers, black on their backs and sparkling white on their bellies. Their arms flattened into strong flippers, and their feet became webbed, perfect for waddling. They were no longer Zoya and Finn, the human kids, but two adorable wobbly Adelie penguins. Whoa! Finn chirped, flapping his flippers. He slid a little on the slippery ice. It's so cold and so bright. Everything is white and sparkly. And our feet are perfect for sliding, Zoya chuckled, taking a wobbly step. All right, brave little penguin Finn, we need to find that lost chick. Where do you think we should start looking? They waddled through the vast icy landscape. The wind whipped past them, carrying the salty smell of the sea. They heard the loud calls of adult penguins in the distance, a cacophony of squawks and honks, but the sad chirping they'd heard earlier was too quiet. It's hard to tell where the sound is coming from, Finn said, tilting his head. He felt a pang of loneliness just thinking about a little chick all by itself. My flippers are getting cold, Zoya. Do we really have to go far? Think about it, Finn, Zoya replied, her analytical mind already at work. If a chick is lost, it means it's strayed from its colony. And colonies are usually near the water because that's where penguins find their food. So let's head towards the sea. They waddled and slid, their flippers working like paddles, until they reached the edge of the ice, where the vast, dark ocean met the white land. Here, the chirping sound was a little clearer. There! Finn pointed with a flipper. On a small, wobbly iceberg, a tiny, fluffy penguin chick huddled, looking absolutely terrified. Its soft, grey down feathers were ruffled, and it looked so small against the giant blue ice. Oh, Zoya, it's so little! And it looked so scared. Finn felt a wave of sympathy. It's crying for its mom and dad. Zoya felt it too, but she focused on the problem. It must have floated away on that iceberg. We need to get it back to its colony. She looked around. But how do we get it off the iceberg and across the water? We can't just push it. It's too big, and the water looks too rough for a tiny chick. The chick cheeped again, louder this time, its little body trembling. Mama! Papa, where are you? It cried, its small voice trembling. Finn waddled closer to the edge of the ice. Don't worry, little chick. We're here to help. He felt a strong desire to comfort it. You're so brave, even when you're scared, Zoya thought. Okay, Finn, think like a penguin. How do penguins travel in the water, especially when they need to go fast? Finn watched a group of adult penguins dive into the water, zipping through it like feathered torpedoes. They swim super fast, like rockets. Exactly. They porpoise, Zoya exclaimed. They jump out of the water and back in to breathe, and go even faster. She looked at the iceberg. The iceberg is caught in a current. If we can get close enough, maybe we can create a tiny wave, or a current of our own to nudge it, just a little, towards a safer patch of ice closer to the main colony. It was a risky plan, especially for two newly turned penguin, but the chick's sad cheeps spurred them on. "I'll help, Zoya," Finn declared, paddling his flippers with determination. "We can do it together." He took a deep breath, puffed out his chest, and felt a rush of courage. Zoya nodded. "All right, Finn. On the count of 3, we'll dive in together, swim hard, and then porpoise right past the iceberg. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Dive." They plunged into the unbelievably cold water. The shock was immense, but their penguin feathers kept them surprisingly warm. They propelled themselves forward with powerful strokes of their flippers, feeling the strong muscles in their new bodies. They swam with all their might towards the drifting iceberg. As they got close, they both kicked their powerful webbed feet and pushed their flippers down, creating a small disturbance in the water. Then, with a mighty burst of energy, they shot out of the water, just like the adult penguins, porpoising through the air right next to the iceberg. Swoosh! The tiny wave they created, combined with their momentum, nudged the iceberg ever so slightly. It wasn't a huge push, but it was enough. The iceberg, caught in the natural current of the water, slowly began to drift closer to a larger, more stable ice floe where hundreds of penguins were waddling. The little chick on the iceberg spotted them and let out a hopeful, "Cheep! Cheep!" It still looked scared, but a tiny spark of hope shone in its eyes. "Almost there, little one," Finn chirped, feeling so proud of their teamwork. "You're doing great. Just keep waddling." They guided the iceberg until it gently bumped against the larger ice floe. The chick, still wobbly, carefully stepped onto the solid ice. It looked back at Zoya and Finn, its tiny black eyes full of gratitude. "You made it!" Zoya squawked excitedly. "Now, go find your family. They're probably looking for you." The chick, filled with newfound courage, started waddling quickly towards the distant squawks of the colony. It looked back one last time, gave a happy "cheep," and then disappeared into the crowd of black and white. "We did it, Zoya!" Finn cheered, waddling in circles. "We helped the lost chick." It was so brave to cross the water. Zoya felt a warmth spread through her, stronger than any sunshine. "And we were brave too, Finn. We used our smarts and our courage to solve a big problem, and we learned how amazing penguins are at traveling, and how important it is for families to stick together, even across long distances." Finn nodded. "And even if you're little and scared, you can be brave if you just keep going." That's perseverance. With their mission complete and the lonely chick reunited with its family, Zoya blew the wonder whistle again. Poof! The icy landscape swirled away, replaced by the familiar softness of their living room rug. They were back to their human selves, but the tingling feeling of icy water and fluffy feathers lingered. "Wow," Finn said, looking at his hands. "That was the coldest, bravest adventure ever." "And we learned so much about penguins and helping others," Zoya added, her self-esteem soaring. "Next time you see a bird flying south for the winter, Finn, remember that's migration. Just like our little penguin chick will one day travel far and wide, bravely exploring its world." Zoya knew that some problems seemed too big to solve, but with a little bit of smart thinking, a lot of kindness, and a dash of bravery, any challenge could be overcome. And Finn knew that even the smallest help could make a huge difference to someone who felt lost. For more Zoya and Finn adventures, visit zoyafinn.com.